Welcome to State of Ed, a podcast about education inside the classroom and out. My name is Marc.
And my name is Nick Simone.
How you doing today, Nick?
Really well. What a great day. How about you?
I'm doing well. Can you tell us a little bit about where we are? We're not in our normal environment.
No, we are on, we're on West 18th Street, right? At the Hudson School of Learning Technologies. And we just finished a tremendous Ed by Ed New York City conference, Professional Development Day.
And we're very fortunate to have two of the showrunners here, the people who are the visionaries and the sweat equity behind the whole thing. We have Jennifer Gunn and we have Joralemon with us, and we're really happy to have them. So welcome to State of Ed Podcast, both of you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
So tell us, did you lose a bet, and is that what led you to all the work that you've done on creating an amazing 1,200 person day of professional development here in New York City?
No, actually, we as a school at Hudson, we attend a conference in Philadelphia every year called EDxED. It's at Science Leadership Academy run by Chris Lehman. And every year we would say, God, we need something like this in New York. Maybe we could do this at our own school. And we would say it every year, but we never did anything. And then 5 years ago, we actually realized we actually can do this. So let's kind of sketch it out a little bit, and that's what we did. And the first year, it was like hosting a party at your house. You were kind of like, is anyone actually going to come to our conference? And I think we had maybe 300 people. And then the next year, it's doubled every year. So in our 5th year this year, I just can't believe how big it's grown.
Well, I will say I've been to a lot of staff development days and conferences. I've never seen one run as smoothly as this. And again, I've been teaching 25 years. And it's a shame I couldn't see everything, every workshop, but I've just never seen it. Everybody was so helpful. They were so organized. It was very impressive. So you guys should be extremely proud of what you did.
And you had students here helping out and teachers helping out, and everyone had their awesome shirts on. And I know, Jen, I know you a little bit through the work in Nassau County Assistant Principals Association. Your design work is like evident all over this building. I could tell you have a certain signature. It was part of the presentation process online and the application online and everything from the shirts to the banners and so on outside. You just have a great eye for this kind of thing. So it was very apparent. I just wanted to let you know that for sure.
I think that design thing has been a huge factor to the success of the program too, because like Jen said, when we started, it was very small. And there's a million PDs in New York, but the web presence that Jen is able to produce and just like our website and all of the media that she produces, it just looks really official. And I remember I think it was the first or second year I worked here, someone said, I was like, wow, this looks so official. And someone just said, well, you just kind of have to fake it until you make it. And then now we are pretty official. We get some very important speakers who come in, and I think that we really kind of match the quality of Jen's programming.
So since you mentioned the speakers, you had Zaretta Hammond as the keynote today, who was amazing. I thought she was just so insightful and really spot on. How did you catch such a wonderful speaker and someone who is so nationally renowned? How did you net her?
Well, I just asked. No, but really, I mean, the last two speakers we've had, Zaretta Hammond and Dr. Chris Emden, they're hard gets. And I think what they responded to was the grassrootsness of this conference, that it's not a conference company, it's not someone charging $1 million to come. It's a free conference, totally run by teachers, for teachers. And they were like, yeah, I want to be a part of that. That's the kind of conference I want to really speak at. So they respond to that really well, and we've been so lucky to have the last few speakers.
Yeah, every year at the beginning of the year when we planned this, we make a list of people that we might be interested in. And she was so far of a reach on that list because she's really like the person in the DOE this year. Everybody is talking about her book. And when Jen texted the group, Zaretta Hammond's in, I was like, no, she's not. Like maybe she says she is, or like we're going to have to.
Right. Well, she'll tweet out and say hi. Right.
Yeah. But that was a huge get, and that's all Jen's work. That was 100% Jen Gunn.
How many people are in this group that organized the event?
6.
6 of you, and the calendar for that. When would you start up for next year?
starting around October.
Oh, wow.
Kind of thinking what the theme's going to be for the
Right.
next year, thinking about the keynotes, because that's the first thing that has to happen.
You going for Ken Robinson?
He's on the list.
He's on the list every year. Yeah.
He's on the list. But yeah, we definitely do that first, and then we begin the rollout process of getting speakers and sponsors and everybody. And it kind of starts off in a slow roll, but then by January we really kick into high gear.
And do the 6 of you have? Sorry, do you have like complete autonomy to make these decisions and run the show?
Yeah, we're
Good.
a committee. We
Right.
like Vince said, we have a group text that makes a lot of decisions because we're not always in the same place. So if we're not meeting, we talk a lot and we make decisions and we check with each other. I don't think anyone really makes a big decision without consulting, which is great. And we all trust each other's vision and work.
It's great.
Yeah, we can hear the custodial staff doing their work outside as we record this. And
On site.
in, in Walter's office, we've kicked him out.
They were impressive as well. They really set things up tremendously.
Yes.
Oh, the custodial staff
Oh,
is amazing.
phenomenal.
Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah.
Amazing. So you started to take us through the process of creating an event of this magnitude. So, we're fortunate enough to have listeners in different parts of the country, different parts of the world. We just got our 4th continent recently. Now we're heard in Africa, which is mind-boggling. Just the power of the internet is outstanding. Thank you. It's a small area in Zimbabwe. I've never been, but we probably can't get down the street without getting recognized in Zimbabwe now. But so for someone who's listening and who has an idea that they want to also be part of a grassroots movement to bring really high quality professional development to their schools, to the educators in their community. So what are the obstacles that you have to clear on the road to creating something, this substantive?
Time, money, space, resources.
Well,
people.
beside that, no.
Yeah. I mean that is really huge. Is how do you pay for something like this, and how do you find the time to plan it? And we're lucky to work here and also be able to use the space for this. But if we had to find another location, I don't know what we would do. But just raising money. Vince did an amazing job this year raising some money. And if you want to do really quite high quality professional work, there are so many ed companies who want to be a part of that and who will help support that work financially. So we were able to do this and grow it every year. Our first year, I think we did it on a shoestring. Our budget has grown and we've learned how to do things better this year.
I think something that's been very helpful is I start to see more and more people talking about this in the educational field too, but really having teacher-led and teacher-directed professional development instead of hiring a consultant or instead of saying the administrator should be doing it. Really saying this is the person who's in the classroom every day, show me your best learning. And the vast majority of our presenters are teachers who probably taught yesterday and are going to teach tomorrow. And I think that getting really respecting the profession and treating teachers as professionals and having that be the basis of it. If anyone wanted to replicate the system, start with your teachers. Think about them as what message you can magnify from that level instead of a top-down model. It's just, and I see it a lot. New York Academy of Teachers, Math for America, you start to definitely see a lot more of this happening in New York, and it's, I think, a really strong movement to say teachers are professionals and we need to respect them, and you don't necessarily need to be an administrator in order to have the knowledge.
And that was actually one of the themes echoed by Zaretta Hammond in her keynote today. She was saying, you are the strategy, we are the strategy. It's not just coming from a top-down, chancellor or superintendent or secretary of education or principal's office, but it's also moving in the direction from the teachers on up. And it's a powerful message for her to deliver, and you definitely echoed it here.
I love what she said about how the sharing of our knowledge doesn't just live in higher ed, and that you don't have to be a doctorate to share this wealth or publish what you're doing, and that classroom teachers have so much knowledge and practice in the field that we need to be sharing this more. And I think it's often well, I'm not an expert at it. You are the expert at it. You do this every single day. You should be publishing it. You should be sharing it, whether that's on a blog or a podcast or at a conference. Definitely share your knowledge.
Yeah. What's so impressive about the group today, though, I mean, this is June 6th. I mean, most people, you know, in education, right, are not, and yet there was such enthusiasm and eagerness walking around the halls, walking in and out of classrooms. People are still here trying to learn, trying to improve their craft, realizing. So it's a testament to the product that you've put together, but also the quality of people that work in New York City. I mean, we're from Long Island, and every time I'm around New York City teachers, I'm just so inspired by not only their talents, but just the energy that they bring to their job every day. It was very, very impressive.
I think when we started this conference, that was an issue. We thought it's June. It's kind of the worst time to do a conference, right? You're done, you're tired. And so we kind of were like, how can we create a really exciting, buzzy event where people are going to come out fired up and ready to plan for their next year or these last 2 weeks of school. So I think, yeah, what you said, I loved walking around, seeing people excited and saying, I'm trying this tomorrow.
Yes.
But that's a tremendous leap of faith, isn't it?
Yes.
Right? I mean, because you're in your planning meeting in October, you know what June looks like and feels like, and to take that calculated risk, I mean, it's a testament to your bravery for sure, but just putting the faith in the educators that they'll still be interested in becoming better versions of themselves, even in June, is really amazing.
You know, I run a PD at my school that's inspired by Ed, and it is on once a month on Friday. There's 3 teachers, and they get to talk for an hour about whatever they want. It can be pedagogical, it could be content, or it could just be like something they're interested in their life. And speaking of like a leap of faith, that took an enormous leap of faith because I had to talk to my principal. I'd say like, give me this PD time, and it was like 10 PD sessions over the year. And if I messed that up, or if the teachers came ill prepared, like what a waste of time that it could have been. But it was no question the best PD we did. I gave a little survey at the end of the year, and everyone said that was the #1 PD we did every month. And I think that, yeah, it takes a leap of faith, but teachers step up. I mean, they have to. I think people underestimate how much teachers do just every day. Setting up for a conference is nothing to them. Like they can putting together a 90-minute session easy for them. Yeah.
That's true. They're planning, in some cases, 3 lessons a day or more, maybe, depending on who's got what kind of crazy schedule.
Yeah.
But what you're mentioning really is something that Nick and I have talked about before, and it's sort of the difference between what goes on the college level versus what goes on in the pre-K through 12 level. And there is a lot of that, though, and we've experienced it. I know I've personally experienced it, where we're in a PhD program right now, and the knowledge and experience that we have gathered over, I mean, I've been almost 25 years, Nick's almost 25 years in, that's 50 years of combined knowledge and experience, and it's almost like not recognized at all because it didn't happen with a particular framework or within a certain paradigm that conforms to something else. And I respect that. There's science is important, and there's a reason that it's there. I do respect it, but I feel like there should be room at the table for all of these ideas and all of this input, and it shouldn't just be, it's just my editorializing here, but it just shouldn't be, if it happens within the halls of academia, then it's valid. But if it happens here in the halls of Hudson Learning High School, then it's not, because it's just some teachers running around doing things with kids as opposed to something valuable or valid. That's just my own little take on it.
But I would have to assume, based on what I've seen, that you have very supportive administrators, because that's the key. I mean, you're incredibly talented. The people that I saw today inspired me, motivated me. They're doing wonderful things. The kids, at least at Hudson, obviously are very fortunate to go to a school like this. But you have to have an administrative team that supports that. Otherwise, it could never exist.
That's very true. Yes.
They must give you such freedom to really be the engines of change and really leading these kids for what I think is a great school experience.
Absolutely. I mean, our assistant principal here at Hudson, Walter Brown, is on the planning team for
Oh, great.
So he is a co-creator of this conference since the very beginning. And our principal since the very beginning, she's a big believer in conferences and teachers sharing their knowledge. And, she's always encouraged us to attend conferences, to travel and go to all different kinds of places to learn. And so when we came to her and said we want to do this in our own school, she said, great, let's do it. So
That's awesome.
absolutely, I cannot even imagine doing this with someone who was less supportive. I don't think it would even happen.
Right. Because there are Jens and Vinces in other schools,
Yeah.
and they have these ideas, and then they go to the powers that be, and they're just completely shut down and never given the opportunity to spread their wings. And it's easy to say after we just sat through a full day with 90 presentations and 1,200 participants. It's very easy to say, "Oh, sure, this is a good idea," because look at the turnout. But 5 years ago, in October, you didn't have that. You didn't know that. So everybody took like I said before, a leap of faith and trust that with time and nurturing, you'll be able to, and hard work, you'll be able to grow it into something really special. I give a lot of credit to your team. I give a lot of credit to Walter, to your principal. I hope that there are more Walters and more your principals.
Yes.
I apologize, I don't know her name, out there who are willing to be supportive of these kinds of things and giving teachers the opportunity to show what they're capable of.
Mhm.
It's so crucial, and everyone got to share and take away at least one thing. And a conference, you say, if I can come back with one thing, it was a successful conference. And this was certainly more than successful. There are many things that I know I'm going to bring back.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if I could say one thing about my principal, whose name is Nancy Lagozo, one of her best managerial attributes is that she trusts you professionally. So she will not micromanage you. She says, you have an idea, try it. You have a project, I'm going to give you space to do it. And that is so invaluable. And if I could tell principals out there is to trust your people, and help. And if they're, sliding or anything,
Mhm.
support them and help them grow and find their way to shine.
But she also gave you access to the building. She gave you her
Absolutely.
resources. She gave you the
She's so
custodial
giving,
staff.
and she is so trusting of us and trusts our visions.
Right.
I think she has a very open, and the administration staff here has a very open view of what a school needs to be. It's not, from 8 to 3, it needs to be kids coming in and leaving. Their school, I think, really views like that teachers need to be developed as in addition to students, and just like they view it as like one of their responsibilities to establish school culture, and not like rah spirit school culture, but like to make this
Meaningful.
a place where growth happens at all levels.
Terrific.
Great.
So, well, thank you so much. I
Thank
know
you
you
very,
both
very much.
want to unwind / go to happy hour after all these months of hard work, and you were probably here late into the wee hours last night, making sure that all the technology wasn't broken. I can only imagine. So, but if you want to follow or find out a little bit more about EDxED NYC, you can follow them on Twitter at EDxED NYC. And also the hashtag EdByEd. You'll see a lot of the images and videos and feedback from today's conference, and a few things from me in there as well. I was tweeting throughout the day as I was learning. If you want to hear more of our podcasts, you can find us on Apple Podcasts or on our website, stateofedpodcast.com. And we'll also put a link to EdByEd on our podcast, so you can follow it there. If you're also interested in picking up a copy of my book, which just came out, it's called Forward Fast, Making Sense of Education in an Era of Rapid Change, you can find that wherever books are sold. You can also find me at Marc EDxED or marcesix.com. And this was just a great day.
Yes, it was.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very, very much. And I will do my best to get here again next year.
Great.
We'll be doing it same place, same time.
Sounds great. Thank you so
Great.
much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.